Hi, my name is Stan Bishop and I'm part of the Donation Foundation committee. And about 2 weeks ago, we were actually on our way to Soufrière. We passed this junction in Ancillary and happened to look over on our left and saw this brother and his artwork. And interestingly, we all came out and saw what he had on offer and were blown away by what he is selling here. After about 20 minutes of speaking to him, we headed down to Soufrière, but he was the topic of discussion because this month we'll be observing International Men's Day, and we wanted to feature a man who is actually doing something productive, making a meaningful contribution to society, and unanimously we decided that we have to return to make him one of the features on our International Men's Day calendar. So I'll let him introduce himself.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Robert Fontario from the tiny village of Ancillary, quarter of Roseau, and I am a calabash artist. This is what I do, and this is how I go about making a living.
Can you tell me how this all started?
Yes, Dan. I'd like to be quite honest with you by telling you the story where this came from. It actually started by me making my wife hair on my left hand side. Her name is Zaria Alexander Fontalio. This is my wife. And I actually made her a small bowl. And she was like, if you have this talent and there are tourists coming into Ancillary on a weekly basis, why don't you take this talent and turn it into a business? And I grabbed her idea. And I took about a week or so and put down some pieces, and I went out there to try to sell, and then from there it's become a business up to a day like today.
Yeah. Now tell us what are some of the items you have here.
Well, basically we have a lot of we try to keep the part in old time. Like we have a lot of bowls and a lot of cups, like our native ancestors would use a long time before a lot of us were born. So we try to keep that vibe going. So what we have here is basically some bowls and some cups. And what we do is we try to implement a piece of St. Lucia, a piece of St. Lucia's art, a piece of St. Lucia's culture on everything that we sell, so that we can sell the island tourism-wise and business-wise as well.
Yeah. Now I remember you telling me the story just earlier about how your entry into art started as a boy.
Well, basically, I have always loved to draw from a kid, and I was pressured daily by my mom to do homework instead of drawing before homework. So, and I still kept on doing art from the time I was a youth until a day like today. So I think that training, and also let me mention that a little help from my mentor, which is Chris Girao, which is an art teacher. He was an art teacher at the time at the Roseau Combined School, who gave me a little boost, a little training to become a little better at creating art and drawing as well with a pencil. And I'd like to thank Chris for that a lot. And what he did with that training, I would say, inspired me a lot to implement that very same art on Calabash. So I would like to thank him a lot for that.
Yeah. How important do you think our arts and crafts folks are, not just in the tourism sector, but in terms of the national sphere?
Stand everywhere around the world, there are arts and craft artists. And not every artist is the same. All of them, to me, has a different way of creating art, even though it might have a similar look, but it has a different passion to it. And when it comes to arts and craft artists here in St. Lucia, I think they need to be recognized more by the government itself in helping them to help others. Because I'm one of those artists here in St. Lucia that is not, I don't think of myself as someone that wants to keep my talent to myself. I think of myself as someone who would like to see the talent branched out, and basically branched out to the kids in schools, likewise to the youngsters who are being idle-minded on the streets. Because I believe that if you have some work to do with your hands and some positive thought on your mind towards that same work, then there's not much time to think about negativity.
Yeah, and what are some of the feedback that you get from your buyers who are mostly tourists?
Well, basically, Stan, like my wife would say, they're usually blown away. Because you see, this is not art that you commonly find everywhere. A lot of people would sell a piece of calabash and they would sell it plain, like it came from the tree. But what we do, like I said before, is we put a lot of different kind of, drawings. Like if I were to pick up this one as I speak, you would see a map of St. Lucia on there, and you would also see the pitons on there. And I would explain that I'm speaking to you here in Ancillary, and you would travel past Canaries and go down to Soufrière, and you would see these mountains. So this is like a message on a bowl. So I implement that kind of art, so it means something to the buyers. So I think the tourists, they appreciate these kind of things because they are buying a souvenir with meaning. It's not like some artist just trying to sell a piece of craft to a tourist.
Yeah. Now you say you've been doing this for 8 years.
Yes, sir.
How do you get all these calabash? Do we have that many trees in St. Lucia?
Well, Stan, you'd be amazed as to the amount of trees of calabash that we have in St. Lucia, but they are located in secluded areas. For instance, if I would want to find a giant calabash, a huge one, I would probably have to travel to the Soafa Lewis Community College, and I would have to ask permission to go there and pick about 3 or 4, because like calabash is from the national tree of St. Lucia. You cannot abuse the tree of calabash. So and this is a place that children come and go, or likewise teachers and tourists come up there as well, so they need stuff to show them, and this is how the calabash is from the tree. So basically I go about buying calabash if it's necessary, and it's given to me free, I accept. And this is how I get my calabash.
Now I know as an artist you actually put your inspiration and your impressions on your pieces, but do you also customize pieces? So for example, like a hotel chain or a restaurant would want their logos or their business name imprinted on the calabash. Do you also do that?
That's a very interesting question, Stan. Basically, I started doing calabash with a mere pair of scissors, and with that very same scissors, if you gave me half an hour, I would be able to draw you, Stan. And I'm not being biased. I'm being very, very serious. So you see, as to a logo for a restaurant or a company that I can create, and I love a challenge. So I'm ready to take on any challenge at any moment when it comes to art on calabash.
Right now, since you said you came up like really tough childhood in terms of the struggle, a lot of people would use that as a reason or an excuse to go the bad way, but you've actually invested your talent into a business, and obviously you're one of the stand-up men, and we're happy to have featured you in this program. What advice do you have for other brothers who are contemplating, what next do I do with my life? What would you tell them?
Well, Stan, I would advise them to know that in life, right is right and wrong is wrong. And if you know the right, try your best to do the right. Because when you do right, you could never go wrong. And in other words, like I said in the beginning of this program, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So if you find in positivity, in finding something good to do, it's much better than being idle. And this is why I believe that if given the chance to reach some of the youth on the streets, to bring them into workshops, we can decrease crime on the streets. This is the advice that I have for them. Stay away from violence and negativity, and let's go into some more positivity. Let's support the brothers that we see doing right. Let's ask them how they go about doing it. Let's get involved in righteous things and less wrong.
Speaking about positive, give me a couple of positive things about your community and Slurry.
Well, Stan, I will tell you that Ancillary is a wonderful fishing village with a wonderful people. Likewise, in every community, every area, you find people have their ups and downs, but I believe that Ancillary is a fortress to a youngster that wants to see it that way. If you believe in opportunity, there are opportunities to grab in Ancillary. Ancillary is a tourism community. Ancillary is a fishing community. And these are all opportunities. One can become a fisherman, one can become an artist, one can become whatever he wants to be if he puts his mind to it. I believe self-drive is the best drive, is the best motivation to drive yourself into becoming what you want to be. Because nothing comes easy, Stan, you know that.
Yeah, and how can people get in contact with you if they need to purchase some of the items?
Basically, we have a number that you can contact us on, and we also have a page on Facebook called Bless Hands. And that number is, can I give that number on air, Stan?
Sure.
712 5187.
Right.
You
51.
can contact us. Say it again.
Yes.
712 5187.
And naturally, you wouldn't be producing such great calabash items if you didn't have a good collaboration with your wife right here. So we're going to move over to her right
Yes, there you
now.
go.
Just
Stan.
repeat your name for us, please.
My name is Zaria Alexander. Yes, well, they call me Lady Zar for short. Yes.
Now, you give this brother some piece of advice a couple of years ago, and he seems to have run with it. I mean, when you look and see the kind of work your husband does, how does it make you feel?
I feel really great about myself and excited also, especially when our work go out there to tourists and in other foreign countries.
And is this your basic means of employment?
Yes, it is. Yes, for now, yes.
And we notice that every time we come around, you're always there to support him.
Yes, always, always. Never stop.
And do you also try your hand at it?
I do, all the time. Yes, we work together. We're a team. Yes.
Yeah. So we wouldn't be dealing with sales with him anymore. We call him Zari.
Yes. So,
Zari.
yes. Yes.
How has the pandemic affected your business?
Well, since the pandemic came around, it slowed us down a lot because that's our main source of income when it comes to my children and stuff like that. So it really had a toll on us a lot.
How important do you think the artists are to the tourism sector?
That's ourselves. Well, without us, there's no art. Sure? Yeah.
Any other thing you wanted to add? I mean, I see he also has earrings and so on.
Yes, well, I also try making coconut earrings, but it's a lot of work. The calabash is kind of like, but as to the coconut, it is more work than the calabash. Yeah.
He tells us sometimes you have to force him to come to bed because he's still
Yes,
working.
all night long. Yes, we do it together sometimes, but he's more energetic and more into it than me. But when I see him staying up that late, like 2, 3 in the morning, I'm like, come on, Robert, you need your sleep, to get some sleep, Yeah.
And finally, how important do you think it is to have a partner who supports the work? And this is more than work for him, this is his passion. How important do you think it is to have a partner who is very supportive of the passion?
It is very important to me because you can't really get somebody like that. It's like a dream come true to me because when I met Robert, it was like we were down there and we just grew up together through Calabash, so I can't go wrong with him. He's a good guy and he has my back all the way.
Thank you so much, Zara, for the inspiration to him.
Thank
How
you.
many years ago with that calabash? And it's spawned into 1 million calabashes.
Yes, a lot.
Any final comments, my brother?
Yes, basically, I would love to say thank you guys very much. And thank you, GVD, for being here. You guys are great. And also, one more thing I'd like to say. I could remember when I started doing Calabash, it was very, very, very tough. And I had these two friends that came to me and they gave me a tiny gift. It's called a Dremel. And it helps me sometimes to do cutting, to do chandeliers. And I'd like to say thank you very much to Cindy and Erin Martinson, the Madison family, and all of them and all the family. I'd like to thank them. They've done a very a lot for us in our life, in supporting our work, in supporting us in life, and I'd like to thank them.
Tell us about the Netflix story.
Oh yes, just before the COVID came in, I was sometimes before March
Last year.
last year. We had Netflix coming and do something with us, and they did a tiny program with us on their show called Restaurants on Edge. And you can also find us on their Restaurants on Edge St. Lucia, and you can visit Netflix to see this program. It's a very lovely program, and they did a great program with the fish fry in Ansbury, and they highlighted how the vendors sell and what kind of food and our little spice rum and all that. And it was a very beautiful program, so you guys could check that out. It's Restaurants on Edge, St. Lucia on Netflix.
Yeah. And finally give folks the actual location that they can find you in Ancillary.
Well, basically, guys, we are located in Ancillary. It's a tiny viewing point after you pass Ancillary. It's called Opos in Ancillary. This is where we're located. We're here every single day, Saturday to Sunday. And, from Monday to Sunday, sorry. And we're not hard to find. We're just by the roadside. If you pass, you see the Calabash people, you say hi.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Robert and Zaria. And there you have it. We've been speaking to the husband and wife team of Robert and Zaria, and out of the something that's so significant to St. Lucia, our Calabash, they have paired up to actually bring us some very artistic pieces for your appreciation, and you're free to contact them and purchase whenever you like. From what I understand, the prices are off the chain, which means very affordable. But not only do you get to pay for something that you love, you get to pay for something that lasts, something that, every one of these pieces is a unique piece. So check them out at Ancillary. You can call them as well. It's not just for visitors, it's for everybody. They create art for everybody to appreciate. So thank you so much, Robert, and thanks for agreeing to be one of the men we feature for our International Men's Day. And keep the vibe going, my brother.
Thank you,
and my
sir.
sister.
Thank you, sir.
Keep giving him that support that he needs.
And I'd like to thank you guys for featuring me for International Men's Day. Thank you very much, guys. It means a lot. St. Lucia, thank you. GVD TV, we love you guys, respect, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And we're out from the Calabash Pass. Thank you.